Sorry, Sean.
So you're all right. You're all right. This is the newest map, even though this isn't quite accurate. I know because I live in Montana. So the dark gray are counties that are CWD positives. Unfortunately, the little circles are game farms. That have yellow means depopulated, so it came up positive, and they removed the animals. Red is positives; they still have animals. And as far as Montana goes, which you can see my cursor, all this light gray, most of that is dark gray right now. It just hasn't hit the system yet. It went from like 17 counties to 41 counties or something in this last fall. So, and if it's like these populations down here on the Mexican border, the odds are it's much further widespread. It's just the testing isn't being conducted or capturing it. People aren't participating, hunters aren't participating, whatever it may be. So the USDA APHIS, there's multiple funding opportunities with APHIS right now. They're currently accepting grant application packets. I put this link in here just to remind you that if you want this link, just email Corey or I, and we'll get it out to you so you can, this is to get it out to you in the field. This is where you go to find the information on how to apply, where to apply, what you can apply for, the system you use, which if you do anything with APHIS, apparently they're not being very, I'm going to say friendly, because I hate the system they use, but it is really time consuming to get set up in it. We tried to do it last year. We were going to apply for some programs last year, and it takes like over a week just to get your account created. So if you're going to do these, I would get on it ASAP or contact Corey and I, and we can help you get through these. Even if you do something else with APHIS that isn't CWD, they're using that Easy Fed grants program, and it's not friendly. It's not user friendly at all. So they said today, and I gotta slide down so I can read. The main goals are improving CWD management of affected farmed herds, that's farmed, and wild cervid populations. Improving CWD management of affected area or premises. Conducting additional research on amplification assays. And conducting additional research on predictive genetics, and delivering educational outreach and materials. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And again, they said today that it was due July 4th, but the website says June 19th. So I would stick with the June 19th just to be safe. I don't know why he said July 4th today, or July 6th, something like that. But
that could be really quick. I think that's the difference between the there's a couple different ones. There's the tribal one and the tribal pot of money. There's also the general wild cervids pot of money, and then there's the captive cervids pot of money. So I think they have different dates. The wild and the captive have earlier dates, and the tribal one is that July 4th date.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they make me nervous. They have when they have different dates, that just confuses folks. But yeah, give Corey and I a holler if you have questions. Well, Gail, are you working on one, Gail, for this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. The next one is, this is the Bureau of Indian Affairs, currently has tribal wildlife grants, which is a general wildlife grant research program, not just chronic wasting disease. And these are to provide a competitive funding opportunity for tribal governments to manage your programs for benefit of wildlife and their habitat. It doesn't have to be huntable wildlife. It can be any sort of wildlife program. The funds may be used for salaries, equipment, consultation, all the things listed here, research, field supplies, whatever it is you might need. And these are due by 5 p.m. Eastern time on June 18th of 2021. And again, Corey and I did a little quick presentation a couple weeks ago on applying for these. So we have a recorded version of that. Plus we have, just contact us if you have questions. And, we have contact with the BIA folks are pretty good to get information back to us. And so far the APHIS folks have been too. We just got a little bit of conflicting info from different folks, but we'll figure that out for you. So, and I highlighted this because they just told us this. So the federal grant software, which I was just talking about, Easy Fed Grants and grants.gov. So grants.gov is the one that almost everybody uses. It's supposed to cover all granting programs. That's what the Bureau of Indian Affairs uses, the Fish and Wildlife Service, all of them. But that's not what APHIS said today. They're using Easy Fed Grants. So there's some stuff with it. There has to be 2 representatives set up in with accounts in Easy Fed Grant for each tribe. One's an administrator, and then the other one is basically a funds approver supervisor of the project. So I'll be curious, Gail, have you done one before, Gail?
I have not yet, but our grant supervisor, she's working on getting us one right now. And I was actually just sending her an email, making sure that she knows of the 2 representatives. I know that this was mentioned in another meeting. I just forgotten to check with her. So yeah, she's busy setting one up at the moment, and it does take quite a while.
Right. And I was just going to say, if you have a grants program, if your tribe is fortunate enough to have a grants program, they might administer all of these grants. Like when I worked for both tribes I worked for, they did all that stuff, and we just did like a submittals to them, and they managed all of that. But not everybody has that. You know, some tribes don't have those opportunities, so it can be more complicated or more, you know, just a little more extra steps and work. And this is going to be the end of mine. Does anybody have any questions for me before Corey starts on the rabbit thing? Okay, well, we'll move along kind of quick because Corey has a good presentation. So the one thing I want to remind everybody that even though this is a CWD rabbit hemorrhagic update, you can contact us for anything and everything for assistance. Corey and I are focused on invasive species, wildlife disease, and threatened and endangered species. Technical assistance out to the tribes or programs or funding sources, whatever it may be. But we can help with anything. You know, just reach out to us, and if we don't know it, or we'll certainly find the person who does for you. You know, our objective is to support tribes in their sovereign right to manage their own natural resources across the United States. And with that, Corey, we're gonna have to switch around a little. So Corey, I have to switch here real quick so she can do her presentation. Hey, Corey, you want to make me the host again?
I'm sorry, I was talking and and we know how that goes. Okay.
Okay. Just got the notice. Let me make sure. Okay, yep, you're good to share. Go ahead.
Okay, everybody. What Sean hadn't shared yet was that we are a nonprofit organization. The Society's mission is to assist Native American and Alaskan Native tribes for the conservation, protection, and enhancement of their fish and wildlife resources. This is me. I am a member of the Second Fox Nation. As I said before, a graduate of Oklahoma State University. I started my career at the U.S. Forest Service on the Coconino National Forest in Arizona. I worked as a field biologist with BIA, Southern Pueblos Agency. And like I said before, I was the Southwest Chronic Wasting Disease Biologist from 2003, I think, to 2011. And did some more field biology with SWCA Environmental And I've also been the environmental compliance out of California for ICF International. And I am currently back with the society as the other fish and wildlife biologist. Go ahead, Sean. I kept mine.
Okay, so obviously I said most of this already. The thing that is not mentioned in this is Corey and I have the country split basically between us with the various regions. So I have the Great Lakes area, the Great Plains, and what's called the Pacific, so Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and Northern California. And then Corey has the rest of the country. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, Southern California, the entire Southwest, Southeast, and the Northeast part. And this portion is going to be on the Rabbit Hemorrhagic Disease Virus. Used to be only for the Southwest region, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. I'm going to give a brief overview of RHDV2 and provide a current map. The outbreak was mostly in the Southwest region, but it has since spread to the Great Plains region. We'll look at a map of the Southwest outbreak, and then we'll also speak about how RHDV2 spreads, some biosecurity measures, any precautions that you can take, and other wildlife activities. RHDV2 is a fatal disease in rabbits and is considered an FAD, or a foreign animal disease. It came from Europe, spread to different continents and everything. This disease is caused by several virus strains. Animal health officials detected one of these strains, the Rabbit Hemorrhagic Disease Virus serotype 2, or RHDV2 for short, in North America in the past few years. As I said, RHDV2 is highly contagious, and unlike any other rabbit hemorrhagic disease viruses, which there are plenty, it affects both domestic and wild rabbits, including hares, jackrabbits, and cottontails. And in most times, the only signs of the disease are the sudden death of the rabbit. And you can tell this by the blood-stained noses caused by the internal bleeding within the rabbit. Infected rabbits may also develop a fever, be hesitant to eat, or show respiratory and nervous signs. And those symptoms actually are mostly in domestic rabbits that you can observe. RHDV2 at this time does not impact human health. The first detection of RHDV2 in North America was on Delta and Vancouver Island in Canada in the feral rabbits in February of 2018. The disease was later confirmed in a pet rabbit in Ohio. More recent ones have been in pet rabbits and feral rabbits on Orcas Island in San Juan County, Washington State. Canadian detections are within 20 miles of the Orcas Island cases. This is a progressive timeline of RHDV2 cases that have popped up around the country. And as you can see, it started up here in Orcas Island, spreads to Ohio, and the blue dots signify the domestic rabbits. You can see some more up here. If you look towards the Southwest region of the United States, you can see it just pretty much blows up in the Southwestern United States. I had to change my PowerPoint because it used to be only in the Southwest. And that started on March 24th. A positive index detection was found in domestic rabbits from Cibola County, New Mexico. It then hit black-tailed jackrabbits in Eddy County in the southeast part of the New Mexico, and desert cottontail rabbits from Doña Ana County in the southern part of New Mexico. And then the first detection of RHDV2 in wild rabbits and hares in the United States. That's what it signified. There were mortality reported in Mexico. And when positives happen, it starts a situation reporting and weekly reporting actually for OIE to follow up reports on any new cases in the area. Additional U.S. detections followed quickly. Positive detection in Yellowstone County in Montana was reported on February 5th of this year. And then on May 21st, a positive detection was found in a domestic rabbit in Custer County, South Dakota. This is a map of the Southwest region. The black lines indicate counties. The red lines, as you can see up here in Colorado, were in feral domestic rabbit cases. The shading signifies counties with wild rabbit cases, and the counties with the blue are positive domestic rabbit cases. RHDV2 is very resistant to extreme temperatures. So if you think it's not going to get to you because it's absolutely cold, or the other direction, if it's absolutely hot, it can still happen within rabbits. Direct contact or exposure to an infected rabbit and excretions or blood is how it is transmitted. The virus can also survive and spread from carcasses, food, water, and any contaminated materials. And people can spread the virus indirectly by carrying it on their clothing and shoes. So if you have a rabbitry, as in the picture, and you think that your rabbits are not going to get it simply because they are kept indoors at a constant temperature, you can still track it in on your shoes or your clothing if you were out in the woods and you didn't change before you went in there. A vaccine for RHDV2, it's not currently available in the United States. It is mostly where they use the vaccine is in Europe. Instead, it will be up to you as the owner to protect your rabbits by practicing really good biosecurity. And this simply means taking simple steps every day to keep germs and viruses away from your animals. These actions will significantly reduce the chance of RHDV2 or any other contagious diseases that will affect your rabbits. Some steps to prevent disease spread. The goal actually is to prevent the disease from impacting domestic and wild rabbit populations. And to minimize the risk, following are some actions that you can take in order to help. If you live near or visit an area where the disease was confirmed, like the counties I just mentioned, do not touch any dead wild rabbits you may see. You may contact a local veterinarian, state, and federal animal health officials to learn if RHDV2 has been detected in your area. If you see multiple dead rabbits, you need to report it to state wildlife officials, federal wildlife officials, and you can contact Sean and I, and we can get you in touch with those people that you need to speak with. And if you own domestic rabbits, this has been a cause of several invasive species in an area. Do not release them into the wild. If your rabbits appear ill or die suddenly, then you need to contact your veterinarian. Some wildlife activities. RHDV2 wildlife detections have been found in Lepus californicus, or the black-tailed jackrabbit, Cebolagus audubonii, or desert cottontails, Lepus elenii, or the antelope jackrabbit, Cebolagus nutellii, mountain cottontails. And here's some outreach resources. If you go to the USDA APHIS website, you can type in USDA APHIS RHDV2 hemorrhagic disease virus. This is the page that it will bring up. It will give you some guidance, and it is kept current and up to date. So clicking on any of these will take you to the information that you need to know. It'll also show you the interactive map. Any questions?
So Corey, there's some slide issues. Apparently not everybody could see your slides, but I could, but you cut out on me a little bit too.
Oh, really?
Just figure that. Yeah, I don't know what it was. But it is recorded, like I put in the comments. These are recordings, so we can post that, or you can call Corey or contact Corey direct too if you have questions or want more information. I mean, that's the point of reaching out to everybody, especially I think, was it Nina? Did I hope I pronounced that right? Down in that part of the world, I used to work in California as a refuge manager, and I know there's some cottontail issues down there that we're a little bit concerned about. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? And then you don't have to stick to these topics either. If you got other questions, feel free to ask it right now. We're right here.
This is Nina.
Go ahead.
So with some of the precautions, we've so far haven't had any issues with TSE and the cervids out here, but at least not that's come up.
Right.
But there hasn't been any confirmed with the hemorrhagic disease in the rabbits. There's been some talk among people, but not any confirmations up here in our area. We're up in California, central California along the coast. But one of the things with some of the other stuff that I've done with disease issues like Newcastle's and stuff, when that comes out, and like you said, just don't touch, have other covers. But we also used to do foot baths as well.
Foot baths are great.
They are amazing.
Yeah. I also did work on avian influenza, and everywhere we went, we had to go through foot baths.
Yeah. But it would be great to have, which is why I wanted a copy of your slides, because for some reason it won't come up and my video won't show, but this is a new laptop I have, so there could be other difficulties that are going on with this. Because I'd like to put together some things, especially for our community, that for people who are out there who might see things, because we do have some people who have actually pet rabbits, and they would be, and they're quite attached to them, so it'd be devastating.
Yes, they remind me again where you are.
So Kashaya is in Central California. We are in Sonoma County. We're north of San Francisco.
Okay.
A lot of coastal mountain ranges.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty country down there.
Beautiful area. Sure
Yeah.
is. But I've just heard some talk, and some people have mentioned some stuff, but as I said, nothing's been substantiated in our area. So when I saw that you were doing an update on this, I'm like, oh, let's
Okay,
get some
cool.
additional information.
So I
Yeah,
think
no,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay. I'm good.
Oh, no, I was gonna ask Corey, since you're talking, isn't there oh yeah, it makes me look like Julie when I turn my camera off, sorry.
Yeah, and I can't turn my camera on. I probably need to restart my computer.
I'll turn it back on so I don't look like Julie. So I think there's some pamphlets already developed, right, Corey? Weren't you telling me about something like that?
Yeah, it's either that or we can actually do some pamphlets, because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
education would be great, because then your community members or anybody around you can report to you. And then
Right,
you
so
can contact
do you
Sean.
want to take that, put you as the contact for that, Corey?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, because technically she's in my part of the California, but it doesn't matter. Because Corey's kind of the pro on this one, and I'm not. So I do know, like you were saying, that it's not just a cultural thing for our native rabbits. There's a lot of folks around that have pet rabbits, where they actually have, personal production food rabbits or whatever they might be doing. Their kids have 4-H rabbits. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So
And
I think it would be
moving
good to be
across-
proactive.
Yeah, and moving them across counties or state lines, that it's probably what's spreading it. Also,
Well,
really fast, I put a Survey Monkey. It's only 3 questions. It'll take you like probably less than a minute to do, if you guys could fill that out. But go ahead, Sean.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that spread just screams that would happen. That one starts in Washington, and then the next one's clear over, and where is it, Ohio or somewhere? That
Mhm.
had to be domestic rabbit transportation through, sales programs. Maybe the pet trade even, who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, because it's just jumping all over the. I mean, the only place was in the Southwest, where it just, a few cases here and there, and then it just started exploding. And they haven't really even once a detection is found in your county, then your county stays that way. But yeah, so just be on the lookout and make sure and now it's spread to Montana and South Dakota.
Right.
Which
Well, there's
was,
probably all kinds of places in between too now.
mm-hmm. Any other questions?
So Nina, did you get an email from me on this? Is that how you heard about it? Do I already have your email?
It's Nina, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Dang it.
It's
I'm sorry.
okay. It's a common mistake. It is anyway. I received, no, I think I did get an email directly from you.
Okay.
I got it
I'm
through
looking
from
right
other
now,
sources as well, but I think I have it. I received it from you.
Okay, perfect. Because we're trying to get our stuff, there's 574 tribes across the country, and getting our contact info straightened out, and just one person for each tribe is a bunch, let alone an entire staff. So I just want to make sure we're catching anybody, or if you have anybody else you think that should be getting them that you work with, just let me know and I'll add them to my listserv.
And I just put my email in the chat. I'm the only resident wildlife biologist on staff, but I'll find out if anybody else wants to receive them, and if they will, I'll let you know. We're still kind of small. We're in the process of being asked to split. The tribe for years has just had one department called Department of Environmental Planning, and the tribe has been acquiring land. And so now we're being asked to split our program into a planning and a natural resource.
Yeah, I have you. Cool.
Yeah, so it's a process, and I would really not like to have to be the director of environmental planning, but I might not get that option.
Oh, it's so riveting though. Come on now.
When they do spotted owl surveys, I'm like, I'll go even if I have to be out till 2 o'clock in the morning just to get out in the field.
Right. Yeah, if you guys that don't have a mic, if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat or comment. We'll take everything you got and try to help you out as best we can. And Travis, Travis then, huh, Corey, I assume?
He's down at Quechan, yes.
Okay, yeah, so we can make sure he's connected up with Robert. I assume he is.
Yes, and Travis, it is in your area.
Is my mic working now?
Yes.
Hey!
Yeah, I found out my mic wasn't plugged in all the way.
Wow. Loose connections, that will always do it.
Yeah, so Travis, you are familiar with Robert Romero then, as he's the law enforcement guy for the NAFWS?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Did you have any questions?
I did notice that the rabbit hemorrhagic is basically everywhere surrounding my area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically just going to be a matter of time before it pops up here.
Yeah. You might alert your community members. That way, there's extra eyes and observers out there that can, that can let you know if they find dead rabbits or anything. Because like the detections and stuff that weren't domestic were found by community members.
Yeah. I'll definitely reach out to my environmental crew. They're always out there clearing invasive trees and such.
It's great. You have salt cedar and
Mm-hmm.
Russian
That
olive.
stuff. Both of those trees are everywhere in the West, that darn stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the stuff.
Siberian elm.
All right. Well, if we're done with questions and stuff, we don't want to take up too much of your time. Really, really appreciate everyone joining us today and taking the time out. And like I said, feel free to contact us on anything or ideas you have, things you might want us to expand on for other webinars. We'll take it all. Just let us have it.
Yeah, that actually is what's in the Survey Monkey, is that it gives different questions on what you might want to see the webinars on, or any other stuff, or anything that we're doing wrong.
Right. Well, and the other thing, the national conference is tentatively scheduled to be in person in Spokane in October this year, hosted by the Kalispel tribe. So that is one thing we're working on. What else was I just thinking?
Well, the determination will be made in June at the board meeting.
Yeah, so if they determine it's going to be, if we're going to do an in-person one, we'll be getting the information out. Oh, I know, I was thinking the trainings. So as a member of the society, or if your tribe is a member of the society, which is an annual membership thing, we are starting to offer some pretty good trainings that are basically at no cost to the members. Like Corey and I are just coaching and finishing up the very first one, which was the basics or the foundations of wildlife chemical capture course, where it's basically
which Gail is in.
Oh yeah, Gail's in it. That's right, I forgot. Gail's in it. And just the basics of darting animals, or drugging animals for tagging or collaring or whatever you might be doing. But we're working on all kinds of other things too. Like I'm working on a certified fisheries surgeon, for example. Julie, the director, she was working on one the other day that's something different. Trying to get that kind of training to the field for the members and member tribes, and of course there's the law enforcement side of it as well, that the NAFWS helps out with. Don't
forget the drones. We're working on that also.
Oh, the drone one, that's what she was working on. Because there's some changes in the drone laws, and to be a drone pilot became a much smaller drone than it used to be. So we're still sorting out what that means and what kind of trainings the FAA requires for tribal organizations. Because basically they say if it's commercial, you have to have a pilot license, but we're not really sure where that puts the tribes. So we're trying to figure that out with some folks that are flying now and with the FAA instructors.
And we've also, if you've actually been to our website in the past, we have a brand new website now, which is a lot easy to navigate. So I also put the NAFWS.org in the chat if you guys like to check it out. And then contact information for Heidi McCann is also on there. She's the membership coordinator, novice manager for the Native American Fish and Wildlife Society.
All right. Well, just let us know if you have more folks you want to add to our email list. Oh, good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, how much I haven't really seen a whole lot with it, but how much, we're doing a lot of stuff with ocean starting with ocean monitoring and looking at plots in the ocean to do baseline and other things like that. How much does the Native American Fish and Wildlife Service dabble in that when it comes to trainings, or hasn't really?
It's funny
that is something. Go ahead,
Sean is working on that. No, Sean is working on that actually.
Yeah. So those are kind of things. I mean, I'm a freshwater fish guy, so some of that. I mean, I know you guys have oceanic concerns. Well, we have oceanic mammal concerns too. We have a tribe in the lower 48 plus Alaska that hunt whales.
Right.
So we have some. We're trying to expand into those, and it would be super if you have some things to talk about. Give me a call. Because I'd like to have some ideas for that, from shellfish to, of course, the abalone issues down where you're at is tragic.
Well, season's closed. Who knows when it'll open again?
Yeah, so it's, and that was, I've gone down there and done it pretty close to where you live, and that's too bad. Plus, just the ecological impacts of it all is tragic. But yeah, those things. I was thinking about contacting
NOAA or, you know, Department of Commerce and some of those folks to, what I really would like to see us go down the path of is like, say you want training on, you know, something that the Department of the Interior is doing at DUI University. You know, you can do it like through the NAFWS if you're a member and not pay those really expensive fees they have for non-DUI folks. So
And
that's
we
kind
should
of what
talk-
we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to them because what we're doing tomorrow is we actually signed up to participate in a state monitoring of cyanobacteria
Oh.
in mussels.
Uh-huh.
So because of the domoic acid that's come up several times.
Right.
So we're actually going to go scout along. We have it's fee, but we have a mile of coastal line that we actually are going to be monitoring, and part of a tribal marine stewards network that just set up to put together tribal monitoring. I say techniques, but with getting that into some of the state regs, with how they look at that. And so we have 4 tribes that are a part of that right now.
Wow, and you're starting that tomorrow?
We're going tomorrow to go scouting for areas because there's so much material we have to have, but we have other things besides that so this is starting to expand this program. So we definitely should probably have a conversation.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would just love to hear it just for biology's sakes. That sounds awesome.
In the next few weeks, at least, as we put this together, because it's a whole monitoring program. We're talking about tribal rangers. We have a state park that's right south of us. Co-management, co-enforcement, a lot of things that are going on. So I think there's a lot of things that we could be talking about.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Do you have wardens now? Do you have conservation law enforcement officers now?
No. And that's one of the goals that we need to have. That's one of our goals we need to meet.
I'll take some notes because, like I just said, Robert Romero is he's a tribal member too. He's a retired Fish and Wildlife Service agent. Him and I have known each other for a bit. He's a special agent, and so he's the law enforcement contact for the Native American Fish and Wildlife Society now. So that would be super. You know, if you're going to jump in that much, get him involved right off the bat to help with that law enforcement code that has some teeth to it. You know.
That would be great because we are in the process of putting together codes and ordinances for as we expand into wildlife and management of that. As I said, they're wanting us to split our department and we don't have those codes and stuff together. So that's one of the steps we need to start.
Okay. Yeah. Super. Then I'll well, here, I cheat all the time. You got it. Because I just take a picture of my screen with my phone. So I have all the info to look at later.
I put Robert's email in there.
Yeah, that would be good. Get Robert involved right off the bat. It'll save it. He knows all the ins and outs of, when it gets complicated on enforcement on non-members and, tribes having civil code and not having criminal code and all those things. Robert knows those ins and outs.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah. And then of course there's the federal side too, like migratory bird training, you have to be certified. There's a special training course the Fish and Wildlife Service does to have a game warden be able to enforce the Migratory Bird Treaty Act and things like that, or Marine Mammal Act, and all those have special little things that tribal officers can get that other, like a state officer can't necessarily do.
Yeah, so we have both. We have fee along the ocean. We have our inland. That's all federal trust. So we've got and then there's other properties that the tribe is looking at and purchasing. I mean, thankfully up here, it's not like being in Southern California where to buy 678 acres will cost you 60 million. It only cost us 6.
Right. Only 6. Yeah. Isn't that terrible?
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah. So if you,
but yeah, I would be very interested in connecting with you guys and helping set up kind of like strategize so not trying to recreate the wheel, so to speak, and be aware of some potential snags as we move forward with this.
Right. Okay. Plus I've seen there's some coastal, like intertribal organizations already. Most of them, they're more towards Washington, but they have a lot of that. There's research. They have tons of research projects going on coastal things. So they might have a lot of that kind of footwork done.
Yeah. Okay.
Super.
So we'll get there.
Okay.
Just the start. It's a whole new thing for us, but it's pretty exciting. It's exciting for
very
me.
cool.
That's great.
Yeah, that is
Like to
cool. Okay. Yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, if you have my contact info, just email me. My phone number's in there. So,
All right.
yeah, I'd love to hear about it. So
Thank
does
you,
anybody
guys.
else?
Sean, are you there?
Been healthy, and you do too, and the creator watches out for all of you. Have a nice week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.